Welcome to Military Neighbors, a Fleet and Family Support Center program on skills for living. My name is April Tischler. Today we are discussing a free service for parents that is the Visiting Homes with Key Military and Community Experts as they discuss support, education, and resources for parents. Our first guest is Katrina Hagerty, the coordinator for the New Parent Support Program for Subase New London. Thank you for joining us, Katrina.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
So my first question is for you. Can you walk us through the framework of your program?
So the framework is based on the educational background from Dr. Stephen Bavlik for the Nurturing Parenting program, and it's a curriculum-based program. So that's the basis of our program, but that's the educational piece, and through the education, it helps to build nurturing families through educational materials and supports.
Awesome. So a new parent finds out that they're expecting. What's the first step in seeking out an appointment with you?
It's quite easy. They can either stop by or call the Fleet and Family Center. My office is located there. They can email, they can go through Navy Marine Corps nurses, they can go through the clinic on base, or the command, the active military person's command. They can get in touch with us as well.
Okay. So who all is eligible for the program?
Any active military family. So any member of that active military family is eligible.
Okay, so if they're first-time parents, they're eligible. If they're service members, active duty?
Absolutely.
Okay.
First time, 21st time. As long as you're active duty, they're qualified and welcome to be a part of our program.
Okay, great. So my understanding is that parents can come and talk to you about how to parent and development of their children and parenting skills. So what does that one-on-one aspect look like with you?
So it's a really great program because I get to visit the families in their homes where they're comfortable, and there's no transportation issues, and it's voluntary, so there's no stress involved with worrying about any other obstacles that could be there, and that's the primary way. But you can always come into the office, and we'll be glad to help with any questions you have, the transition into parenthood or ages and stages of development of the child, or children, depending on their situation. Coping with a new child when you already have a child, or blended families. There's whatever the concerns are. My job is to support and try to work through them.
Okay, so so let me just clarify. If I was a new parent, I don't have to struggle with parking availability on the base. I can call you
Absolutely.
And you can come to my house.
Yes.
Okay, this is great information.
Absolutely. I can only go within a 30-mile radius. So
Okay.
that is one piece that I don't have a lot of control over.
Okay, so 30-mile radius, does that include Rhode Island? Can you?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
As long as from Groton, Subase.
Okay,
Yep.
Good to know. Okay, so milestones, it's really important, for childhood development. So what type of milestones are you typically offering assistance for parents with the program?
It's parent driven, and it's based off of their concerns and their feedback. And one of the initial visits, we work on a survey, if you would, and the results of the survey help guide where some education may be helpful. And of course, any concerns the parent has is priority. So we try to address them and work through them.
Okay, so it's customizable for the parent.
Absolutely, it's one-to-one.
Okay.
So another benefit of being in the home, I'm working with that family's concerns, not 20 families' concerns.
Okay, all right. What's the age range that you work with children?
Sure.
For the parents.
For the New Parent Support Home Visit Program, it really focuses on preconception through age 3. Beyond that, there are other resources available, but I'm not the best I'm not the best go-to for that, but I'm absolutely happy to help people, navigate through wherever they are.
All right, so you're the lady with connections.
Absolutely.
Okay. We had touched upon this earlier. So you don't have to be a brand new parent to get into the program, and you can have more than one child to participate. And that's if they're finding out they're pregnant again, or are they also allowed to touch base with you if they've given birth and some months have gone by? Is there a cutoff?
Oh, no.
No cutoff? Okay.
The only cutoff would come into play is if I've reached the point where I can't, make all the visits, because there's, I do the visits basically, 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. So, those are the parameters that I have to work with.
Okay.
So, I couldn't possibly visit 40 families, but we've not had that problem, so it's not a problem.
Okay. Is there a priority for your clients?
Yes, through all active military families, but if for some reason I ever had to, say I can't visit you, I would have to stick with prioritizing based on mission ready. So if it was a single parent household or dual parent military, they would have a little more priority over an average military family.
Okay.
And even if I couldn't make the visit, I would still make sure they are supported.
Okay.
Through, if not through me, through a community-based collaboration partner.
Okay. All right, great. So you come into their homes and they can traverse the other side of the fence line and come in. Do you meet anywhere else with them?
Not my preference, because sometimes what we talk about has a little sensitivity to the subject matter.
Okay.
And I feel that it's a private matter, and so I would prefer to meet in the home or in the privacy of the office.
Okay, all right. Military families relocate. So what happens if they get orders?
Great question. So there are my counterparts nationwide, not on every base. So as far as making home visits, depending on the base they are stationed at, they may not get an actual home visitor on base, but the resources are still there. So, for instance, even though I'm here in Groton, London Navy base, I get phone calls from other bases in our region because I'm basically the one for the region. But I obviously couldn't drive to, the Rhode Island base or the Air Force Base in Massachusetts and whatnot. But I absolutely can support them and their concerns with a community resource or just by, giving them the support they needed through email or phone.
Okay, good to know. So can you give us your top 3 referrals that you have for parents that are navigating this new season with their child or children?
That's a really tough question. I think the most common question, it depends on the family. Every family's dynamics and cultures are different, but just adjusting in general, that transition, and maintaining the balance, whether they have other children or not. Providing information for care is a tricky road to navigate, daycare providers, and different resources, because a lot of families are struggling, and there are other resources available, like the WIC program and the SNAP program and whatnot. So I get to give them more information about that, or community resources that are available.
Okay, great. Collaboration. So it's my understanding you also collaborate with other parenting components on the sub-base.
Absolutely.
Can you share a little bit more about that?
So the Navy Marine Relief Society. I always get that wrong.
It's okay. Navy Marine Corps Relief Society.
Okay, I always forget the Corps.
Yeah.
Navy Marine Corps Relief Society is a wonderful organization, and they have a nurse home visitor, and she's a lovely woman, and we collaborate often and work together with families. Or she'll say, oh, I met this family, they'd be a great resource, and so on and so forth. So it's a great collaboration with her. I also work with Fleet and Family Center. That is where I'm a part of. So if families have things or concerns. There's so many wonderful programs offered through Fleet and Family Services. I make sure they're aware of those as well.
Okay, great. All right, so my last question, because we're just about out of time for this segment, how can people sign up for an appointment? What is your phone number?
So 860-694-2714.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. All right. That's Katrina with the new Parent Support Program at Subase New London. Stay with us. We have more to come on our second half.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Whether you need a hand shopping for groceries, using up scraps, or finishing every bite, Meal Prep Mate can help you plan better and save more. Whether you're a newbie getting your first taste, a meal prepper honing your chops, or a meal prep pro hungry for a challenge, you can learn how to eat smarter, plan better, and save more at every step of meal prep. When you finish every bite, you save. Start prepping with Meal Prep Mate at SaveTheFood.com.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. So everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Welcome back to Military Neighbors. Today we're talking about new parent support. Our guest for the second half of the program is Deborah Buxton Morris, the supervisor for the Nurse Family Partnership Program. Thank you for joining us for this segment.
It is absolutely my pleasure.
All right, so we're really curious to learn more about the Nurse Family Partnership. So can you please share with us, from a broad brushstroke, what does that look like?
Nurse Family Partnership is a program out of Denver, Colorado. It's a nursing model of approaching and supporting and educating new mothers and growing families. We work with mothers from pregnancy. We like to enroll them, as it's a requirement that mothers are enrolled by the end of their 7th month, and we stay with the families until the children are about 2. Sometimes we stretch it a little bit longer depending on what the family situation might be, but we assign one nurse, so every mother family gets their personal nurse that stays with them from the time they enroll until the time that they graduate. We have a celebration of completion or graduation for our mothers.
Oh. So who all is eligible for the program?
First of all, the family must be lower resourced,
Okay.
meaning typically that they are WIC eligible, or they may be, well, WIC is the lower bar, Husky eligible or lower ranks of the military.
Okay.
So we do enroll military families.
Okay, so I have 2 questions about that
Yes.
then. My first one is going to be, in terms of location, where do you have to live in order to be eligible based off of location?
New London County
Okay.
and Middlesex County along the shoreline. So we have families that we see from Clinton to the Rhode Island border, north to Griswold, Jewett City, Colchester, North Stonington. We travel to where they are.
Okay, all right. So then my second part is because you service families who are civilian but also military affiliated. Please tell us more about that.
The target population is any family who is of low income expecting their first baby. We know that the funding for this program is federally funded. It's free to anybody that participates. The federal funding comes through HRSA, through a program called Maternal Infant Home Early Childhood Visiting Program, Home Visiting Program. Within the federal government has recognized that military families have challenges and that there's separations and that they can use support and education. So among the MCV, what we call the MCV programs, military families are a priority. It has always been our desire from living in a military community, and I have personal experience with being a military wife. It's been important for me to reach out to military mothers and fathers.
Great. So we're going to break this down. You have education, guidance, support resources,
Yes.
and prevention.
Prevention. But the most important resource is their nurse. And we found, not me personally, but research tells us that over the years, a nurse is the most trusted professional. And mothers trust their nurse. And they trust them to the point that when they're getting ready to go into labor, they're texting their nurse to say, you know, I think it's time. I'm going into the hospital, I'm going to be induced, I'm in labor. They will send us updates during labor. The nurses will go see the mothers and their newborns shortly after delivery. So the mothers and fathers become very attached to their nurse.
Oh, all right. So how can the program then be customized to meet the needs of the family? Like, how often are the nurses meeting with the mom and the baby?
Well, every family, the function is on the mother's heart desire. It's not what we want as our nurses for our clients, but what does the mother want? And then the nurse helps the mother identify what she may need to know. We always start our visits with, you know, tell me what's happened since the last time I saw you. And then we talk about what the mothers had wanted to learn based on the last discussion that we had or the last home visit with them. And then we as nurses always bring something that other mothers are interested in knowing at this point in the pregnancy or in the infant or in the toddler years.
Okay, all right. Do you guys screen for perinatal disorders also?
Oh, that's one of the hallmarks of our program. We start screening, we have a number of screening tools that we use regularly throughout our whole relationship of the 2.5 years, or the 1,000 days that we may stay with the family. We start with, we look at what has your life been like up to now? Tell me what it's been like growing up. Where did you grow up? Who did you live with? Those kinds of questions. We look at any history that they are willing to share of anxiety or depression or whatever may have been troubling them. We screen, we have tools, we call them the Edinburgh prenatal, postnatal depression screening, but it's also a reliable tool for prenatal depression. We use something called a GAD-7, which is an anxiety, because very often we have mothers with anxiety and they think it might be depression, but it's a combination of the two, and we try and tease out what we may be doing. And we have regularly scheduled times when we do that throughout our relationship with them, but we also have very specific times where we know that their mothers may be most vulnerable.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Oh no, that's great. So what's the type of feedback that you've received from families that you guys have worked with over the years?
Well, one of our military families delivered 2 days ago at Bethesda, and she sent us a picture of her second baby right after this baby was born. You know, and so that's feedback right there.
Yeah.
We have mothers that send, and these are some of our military families that have sent us photos from when we were first involved with them. They're still 5 years later sending us pictures of the children that we were working with them with. We also have a more formal way of assessing whether or not a family is happy with their nurse. Mm-hmm. It's an anonymous questionnaire that the nurse leaves with the family, and then it comes back to the agency, the Visiting Nurse Agency of Southeastern Connecticut, and it makes its way from the mailroom down to me. But I have no idea who it is. And because we do it at strategic times, we can know that it's either during pregnancy or it's done when the baby's about a year old.
Okay, all right. And then you had mentioned that basically it appears as though the topics are customized, that you have a needs assessment and you guys are able to customize topics or milestones with the mom for the baby. So it's mom driven, like the mom is the one who.
The focus is on the mother.
Okay.
And we look at this as the new words that they're using are second gen, looking at the second generation. So if we can help the mother learn how to be the best mother that she can possibly be, learn those things that help a baby and a mom and a father attach to each other. So a baby learns trust, learns how to trust people, knows that people will be there for them, that child is more likely to go out and explore and have positive feedback. These children do better when they start entering the school system. They tend to be better behaved in school, less behavior problems. They have, and in fact, in the children that have participated, because we continue to collect data, they've found that the children whose mothers have participated in the program, the children actually score higher on standardized tests in elementary school.
Oh, wow, that's quite an impact. That is
Can
quite
be.
an impact. All right, so my next question for you is regarding if a service member transfers. They can't stay here in New London, they're off to another duty station. Can the services continue with them?
You can't promise for every duty station, but for the most part, yes.
Okay.
Nurse Family Partnership is now located within 41 states and all of the U.S. territories, as well as internationally, and it's in the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada are where the Nurse Family Partnership is located. So yes, we do transfer to other bases. We've done Florida, we've done Virginia, we get down to the Washington area. We haven't had too many families that transfer to the West Coast. They tend to stay on the East Coast.
Okay, all right. Communication with parents, because communication is vital and it's changing, it has shifted. So what does that look like with your organization and the parents and families that you work with?
Well, most importantly is face-to-face, because much more is likely to, as part of nurses, we're trained to observe human behavior. And human behavior through our observations will help us determine where a mother might be going or what she might be feeling, and we can help validate that and move forward with what we're seeing and what she wants to. But when we look at technology, which is what I might think you might be referring to, we do text with our mothers, but our texting is very limited in that it's like, I'll see you in 1 hour, our appointment is still on. Because we discuss private health information, or potentially, we would never want to use anything or in any way violate any person's privacy.
Okay.
And as a healthcare agency, we also abide by all of the HIPAA regulations.
Okay.
So we will talk to no one without a release of information.
Okay, all right, good to know. We are just about out of time, so I really thank you for being here. Is there a phone number that people can call if they're interested?
Absolutely. And that number would be the Visiting Nurse Association of Southeastern Connecticut, 860-444-1111.
Okay.
They made it simple for those of us
to
that may be
remember.
challenged.
Okay, thank you so much. So my name is April Tischler. We're wrapping up this segment of Military Neighbors. If you have any questions about the segments that we taped for you today, you are welcome to call Fleet and Family Support Center at 860-694-3383. Thank you again for tuning into this episode of Military Neighbors.